1 million subscribers. This is a number that is unfathomable to me. So this video is going to be a little different. I wanted to make something a little more meaningful for this incredible milestone instead of the typical goofy antics. And I've planned on making videos for reaching 100,000 and 500,000, but by the time those videos were even scripted, I had already grown another 100,000 each time. So I always told myself, oh, I'll just wait for the next one. But because this video is so special, I'm gonna fade myself out here because I want to make this as more of an homage to a simpler time. We got the gameplay on screen and it isn't Subway Surfers this time. You may have also noticed that the length of this video is much longer than most of my other stuff, and that's because what I have planned for this video is something special. I want to leave this mostly unedited so it feels a little more like a podcast type vibe or like I'm reading you a story. I want it to be a testament to this channel and the journey that I've taken to get here. And I want it to be something that you can use yourself to be inspired by, because that's one of my main goals with my content. I have so many ideas for different things and I know I can't be the one to make all of them, so I share them with you, hoping that one day you can bring that vision to life. But 1 million? It's such an inconceivable number that I don't even know what to say. If someone told me a year ago that I'd not only be a full-time YouTuber, but have 1 million subscribers, I would have thought they were crazy. Being a YouTuber has been my dream since I was 11, and 10 years later, here I am. So before I get into what I have planned here, I want to just take the time to thank you. Each of you watching, each of you subscribed. I want to thank you 1 million times for making my dream a reality. Because without you watching, there is no channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the whole story. The ups, the downs, and all the in-betweens. I'm going to pull back the curtain a little and share the most that I think I've ever shared about my YouTube journey, both on and off the screen. Consider this the Jonny RaZeR lore drop. And I'm going to give you a little warning right now. I'm going to touch on a few somewhat sensitive topics, but I need to do so to fully tell the story the best way that I can. So sit back and enjoy this Call of Duty gameplay as I tell you the story of how I got to where we are today. Let's rewind to 2012. This was the first time that I truly discovered YouTube. I knew YouTube existed and I watched a few videos on it from time to time, but this is when I was truly introduced to the concept of a YouTuber. It was new at the time. Not many people had realized you can make money making videos, and I fell in love with the platform because of it. A friend of mine showed me Captain Sparkle's Hunger Games videos and I went down the Minecraft rabbit hole. I was watching the parodies, I was watching the Let's Plays, and I was loving it. And sometime in 2013, they made a YouTube app for the 3DS, which meant every night I would be watching YouTube before I went to bed. And this is when I truly dove into YouTube. Before it had been mainly Minecraft videos, but now I was watching game theory, I was watching JonTron, I was watching epic rap battles of history, and I was becoming invested so heavily in the content of these individuals. I would stay up late at night, hiding under the covers, just watching, never wanting to go to bed because there was so much more to see. And that's when I knew it's what I wanted to do. YouTube was the career path. It was the end goal. These people played games and made videos as a job, but I didn't have the means to make that dream a reality just yet. I was never that well off. I wouldn't say I was impoverished, but I definitely wasn't rich. My biggest passion at the time was gaming, and the only time I'd ever really be able to buy a new game or new console was after saving up birthday or Christmas money for months, getting $5 occasionally for washing the car or mowing the lawn. It took so long for me to make any money to even just play games, so YouTube was a way for me to experience them without having to buy them. But eventually I'd get a job at a grocery store when I was 15 or 16, and I finally had the disposable income to buy an Xbox One. And the Xbox One had a feature that allowed you to record 5 minutes of gameplay at the time. You couldn't record voice chat, it was only the in-game audio. So given the restrictions and knowing I wanted to be a YouTuber, I convinced my friend Gabe, who's appeared in a couple more recent videos, to make a channel with me. The name, Super Beanie Bros Play. The strategy would be to record in 5-minute intervals at an offset so I could stitch both perspectives together and make a gaming channel. We recorded the audio for ourselves on our phones, except I didn't have a phone. I was using a 5th generation iPod Touch. Now, YouTube was my dream, but it wasn't Gabe's. No hate to Gabe, we love Gabe, but recording was a hassle. Our first actual video was like attempt number 10, and most times they just wanted to play the game and not make the video. In order for me to even get the recordings, I had to upload them from the Xbox to OneDrive, download mine from OneDrive, download Gabe's from OneDrive, put them on my phone where I would edit them in iMovie. This was pre-CapCut. Then I took the poorly edited video and threw it on my school laptop to upload. In retrospect, I probably could have just edited on the laptop, but I was too scared to put any editing software on it because our school said we'd get in trouble. So I kept this up for a while, made a couple videos that aren't good, made an intro in one of my film classes, and tried my best to be funny. And in this time, there was a video that did well. This will be important later. By doing well, I mean it got like 3,500 views, but at the time, 3,500 views was insane. And at the end of this video, I'm going to link some reactions to said videos just for you to get a sense of how far I've truly come since then. Most of them aren't public because they're extremely embarrassing, and I could only sit through a little bit of each video just because of that. But I'm going to be uploading that reaction alongside this video, and if you're contemplating making YouTube videos, I urge you to watch it because we all suck at the very beginning. If you're an aspiring YouTuber and you think that you're cringe, it's because you are cringe. We were all cringe at one point. Even Mr. Beast, who's like the guy when it comes to YouTube, was super cringe. It takes time to really figure out what you're trying to do. But I urge you to check that out after this. Channel members will have access to the unedited cut, and non-channel members will be able to watch the shortened version. But anyway, the video that did well was a Fallout 4 glitch video, and this video taught me that what I was dreaming of was possible. It got views. It got 3,500 views. There was a way to figure it out. And that video was a video that I did by myself. So knowing how hard the process for making videos was with our setup, I knew that the Beanie Bros were not going to last. And as I worked at my grocery store job, I started saving up for a PC. I knew that with an actual computer, I could not only play games, but I could edit. So in late 2017, I rebranded Super Beanie Bros Play to Jonny RaZeR. And that channel is now the Jonny RaZeR Archive channel. The name Jonny RaZeR came as a suggestion from a friend of mine. It literally has no deeper meaning other than my name is Jonny and RaZeR sounded cool. Originally, the goal was for me and a couple other friends, including Gabe, to be in a group referred to as the RaZeR Squad, and it would operate similar to Vanoss, where everyone had their own channels and just collaborated with different games. But I was the only one who ever ended up making any videos. So I had a plan. I wanted to make videos, and I uploaded something saying I was going to rebrand, only to not make anything and wait an entire year. It's ironic because the goal was to make daily content, and the subsequent video took a whole year to come out, but the video itself was something that I had been thinking of for that whole year. I made my first ever series called My Thoughts Monday. The goal was to just talk about random topics every Monday. It lasted 3 weeks. Apart from that, I recorded a bunch of gameplay videos, none of which were really of any note, and after not being able to upload videos that I had recorded for a summer family vacation, I just stopped completely. There would be yet another year-long gap from July 5th, 2018 to September 23rd, 2019. At this time, I had one of the worst recording setups imaginable. My computer was in the center of everything in my house. It was placed in an open area by the stairs with the dining room behind it, kitchen in front of it, laundry room with a dryer that always seemed to be beeping to the right, and living room where the TV was always on to the left. Recording could only realistically happen when my family was away, but after I stopped from that vacation, I just lost all the motivation. No longer was I getting any views, which in retrospect was because it was just unedited gameplay at a time when production values only kept increasing. I didn't want to watch my own videos over again to edit them because the videos were boring to watch, and I wasn't wise enough at the time to even realize that if I didn't want to watch my videos, there's no reason for anyone else to. And anybody trying to make videos now, if you can't sit through your own video to edit it, you're doing something wrong and nobody else is going to want to watch it. So go back to the drawing board. But anyway, when I returned in 2019, I had discovered streaming. One of the biggest things stopping me from making videos was editing, so what if I didn't need to? The streams I did were mid. Most of them had little of note until a Minecraft stream where I felt like I really had something. And this would be the first video that I actually put any real time into editing, even though it was just using the Twitch highlight tool. Now, this is the first video visible on my Jonny RaZeR Archive channel, and to be perfectly honest, it doesn't hold up. The stream itself was mostly just me and my friends goofing off and having a fun time playing some Minecraft. That video being a memento of those days is something I'm very glad to have, but to be honest, my humor in those videos was just emulating a lot of people that I was watching at the time from the SMP Live Minecraft resurgence. I was inspired by people like Jay Schlatt and Call Me Carson, facts that would become more than obvious later on. But after this specific stream, I tried to recapture that same magic. I wanted to make a stream just as funny as the last, but that's when I realized why it was so funny in the first place. It was genuine. It was just me and my friends goofing off, and I was the one trying to monetize that, and I couldn't replicate it. I either couldn't get the same group back together, or when I did, I just tried to force the funny when it realistically wasn't there. Everyone just wanted to play the game. Now, I wish I had saved a record of more of those streams just to have as mementos for myself, but I decided to delete all of them about a year ago because I didn't want anyone to look at that as what my content was, because it had evolved so far beyond that. But eventually, I gave up on trying to be funny with my friends and looked for collaboration. collabs instead. I joined a bunch of the small streamer discords trying to network with anyone I could to have some funny streams, but I realized that I was in this weird in-between point of content creation that was really awkward to be in. I had done my fair share of bad gameplay videos. I realized that there was a lot more to content creation than just hitting record or go live, and this is one of the hardest hurdles that I had to overcome. But even though I realized there was something more that I needed to do, I still wasn't sure what that thing was. This was mid-2020. I had all the time in the world to just stream and try to make the dream a reality, but the clock was ticking, and I was soon gonna have to go to college. I did not want to go to college, so I started learning as much as I possibly could about content creation. I wanted to be a streamer so bad at this point, but after watching a bunch of videos by streaming and YouTube gurus, I realized that nobody cared who I was, and this is another hard lesson to learn. So I went back to the drawing board. I made 2 videos specifically to try and work on clickbait, trying to make some form of content. These are the next 2 videos that are on my archive channel, and spoiler alert, they sucked. I came up with the title and thumbnails for both of them before I even made the video, and the videos themselves were more of an afterthought. I don't even think I scripted any of it. I think I just kind of vamped the entire time. Suffice to say, I was experimenting. Then, focusing back on streaming, I tried to get more collabs, but realized that none of the people my size knew what they were doing. They were all in that same cringe gameplay phase that I had just escaped. So not only did I not know who they were, which meant I didn't have the natural banter I have with my friends, but streaming with them was just as unproductive as streaming with my friends. And that's not to bash anyone I was streaming with and collabing with at the time. That's just the reality of a lot of small streamers. They don't really know what their content is yet, and they're just doing it for fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I couldn't just do it for fun. This was the dream. I had to make it work. So yet again, I went solo. The next 2 videos I made were funny moment compilations of me messing around in COD search lobbies. These were decently funny, and at the time I was really proud of them. But looking back, they were still terrible. At this point, streaming was getting harder. I knew I couldn't stream with my friends, and when I streamed solo, they would show up in chat and ask why I was ignoring them. It sucked. I wanted to make it so bad that I pushed them away in favor of the grind. I knew I couldn't stream with them because they weren't trying to be funny or entertaining. They were just trying to be my friends. And it was really hard getting past this point. It's a hard concept to explain to someone who doesn't get it. For me, I was racing against the college countdown clock, knowing that every day I wasn't growing was a day closer to going when I didn't want to. Then I went to college. My first year of college was rough, to say the least, but with all the lows I experienced, there were a couple highs to accompany them. I had moved to college, but I still wouldn't let the dream die. At this point, Fall Guys had just come out, and I found a glitch that let you break the map Slime Climb and clip through to get a bit of a shortcut. Knowing from my previous experience that glitch videos got views, I documented it, and that video got 9,000 views. So I made another video about Fall Guys, which didn't do good at all. I started coming up with ideas to make guides for every map in Fall Guys, with the goal being to be the guy for Fall Guys, but circumstances made that difficult. When I made it to college, I discovered that the Wi-Fi in dorms wasn't gonna cut it for streaming. That, and my dorm was one of the sucky ones where both me and my roommate shared the same room, which made it really hard to record anything because he was in the room at the same time. And to top it all off, this was still 2020, so it was peak pandemic. I was trapped in this dorm with a roommate I barely knew, taking all of my classes online and hating it. Which, nothing against my roommate, he's a good guy, but I quickly realized that I couldn't live like that. I needed YouTube to work. So I crafted my next masterpiece. I would make a tribute to Flash games, like Jay Schlatt's tribute to Minecraft. Flash was being shut down, making it a relevant topic, so surely this would be the video that would carry me forward. Surprise, it wasn't. So the next few weeks, I experimented with some memes until finding the first series that showed any real potential, my Perfect YouTuber series. This is when I fully transitioned from streaming and gaming content to more video essay style stuff. I made one about Jay Schlatt, which got a couple hundred views, made a video about a gun from COD, then made the first video that would truly prove I had what it took to be a YouTuber. Scott the Waz, a perfect YouTuber. After posting the video and putting it on Scott's subreddit and waiting a week, it exploded. The video gained over 200,000 views. I did it. I can monetize now. I got 1,000 subs after years of trial and error. I finally did it. But then the momentum stopped. I made a couple more videos after that, but the upload dates stretched further and further and further apart. After gaining over 6,000 subscribers in a matter of weeks, videos wouldn't get more than a couple thousand views. My exponential growth was halted instantly. This is where my mental health took a turn. At this time, I wasn't doing that great. I was trapped in a dorm room in a college I couldn't even go into. I grew bitter. I was depressed. I would walk around campus at night listening to Nectar by Joji, which is an amazing yet very sad album, and I would just cry. I have rarely cried in my life except for this one specific period. I would let the negative thoughts take a hold of me. I'd look at the buildings surrounding me, wanting to go inside, knowing I couldn't. I felt like an outsider in my own college. I felt like I didn't belong there. And at the time Among Us was becoming popular, the imposter syndrome was crazy. Even though it was winter and cold and 1 a.m., I'd be outside because it was the closest that I could possibly get to being free. I needed to leave. I had what I refer to as my midlife crisis. I switched my major from game design, which I had been lying to myself that I was passionate about, to marketing, which I was even less passionate about, but the classes were easier. I went home for the next semester. My classes were going to be online anyway, so what's the point of paying another 10 grand for the room and board that was driving me crazy? It was at this point that my sleep schedule would attain irreparable damage. I have yet to fix it to this day. I woke up at like 4 p.m. the day that I'm making this, but by January of 2021, I was making content from home again. I was sleeping through Zoom meetings and putting in the minimum effort in my classes to get A's because YouTube was still the dream. And while I wasn't quite there yet, I was getting better. I made a video about Ludwig, which I got him to react to on stream, which was really cool, but the video only got 1,000 views. I thought posting his reaction would maybe get more, but it got 2,000. Then I tried to pivot again, this time with a series where I would become different things, including a pro COD player and a SoundCloud rapper. This series was heavily inspired by Nathan Fielder, who is hysterical. Most of the jokes were me being bad at the thing that I was trying to do and lying that I was really good at it. But regardless, I was proud of those videos. I made a couple other types of videos here and there, but still nothing was doing the numbers I needed. In fact, each video was doing just a little bit worse than the last. And this demoralized me like crazy. I experimented with some more stuff, but at this point, I was pretty burnt out. I didn't have the same drive anymore to make the stuff that I wanted to make. I was losing. So I started thinking bigger. I went back to college and actually had in-person classes this time, which made me feel a little more like I belonged there. And it was on this return to campus that I met most of the people who are my friends now through an improv comedy club, which I joined specifically to get funnier so I can make better videos. This was the best decision I probably ever made. So with a little more hope, I got to work on my next big ambitious project, shitposting to success. And making this video is the sole reason that I believe I am where I am today. It was a several month-long process of meetings and meme making, all for a video that ended up being 3 or 4 times longer than it ever needed to be. I wanted it to be this grand experiment of YouTube, and then Ludwig beat me to the punch. The idea behind the video was asking the question, could you make a meme channel blow up by just spamming memes? And it worked. Thanks to the meta at the time of having porn thumbnails, the channel I made for the experiment got a couple million views. I had once again proven to myself that I had what it took. I knew that YouTube was a skill game. I just had to play it, and I had to get better at it. The methods this time around may not have been ideal, but they proved my theory. And in doing this project, I reached out to Mental, who was one of the prominent shit posters at the time, and after interviewing him for the video, we started chatting more and more. He taught me a lot of the things that he learned about making videos do well, and for a time, I became his editor. And it was because of him that I even started making shorts in the first place, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. After that video, I realized that the channel I was on was dead. The videos I was making were getting thrown to people who subscribed a year ago for Scott the Woz, and it just wasn't the right audience. So I started from scratch. I ported over the Connect video and the shitpost video, and began my second Jonny RaZeR channel. Here, I had a plan. I was gonna upload every single week, no exceptions. My video ideas got better, my ambitions grew greater, and although it was less than what I got on the old channel, I was seeing some growth, but it wasn't enough. I was starting to run out of ideas. Making videos was beginning to feel like a chore again, so I changed my schedule from weekly to bi-weekly. And along with this, I was also working as an editor, which made working on my own stuff even more stressful. Not to mention, I was still in school, so there was a lot on my plate. But there was a moment in the beginning of April where I made a discovery. Mental and some others encouraged me to make short-form content. We researched a couple channels that were making content similar to my video essays, but in short form, so I made a shorts channel. I made a couple videos about r/place, and on TikTok, they had a collective 10 million views. This was it. This was my chance. I just needed to keep going. Then disaster struck. If you look at the last few shorts I made in that time, you may notice that I look insanely disheveled, and that's because I was very sick while recording them. I had a stomach bug that, to spare you the details, had me in the bathroom at least 50 times in the span of 2 days, and finals were coming up. Suffice to say, I wasn't really in the mood to be making videos. I was fighting for my life in there, just trying to survive. So despite the success, I just didn't do anything with it. I was stagnant. I went home for the summer, and I wasn't planning on going back to college the next year. I was able to get my classes online, so I did, and the plan was going to be for me and a few others to move into a content house together. Sadly, those plans fell through. So instead, me and one of my friends from home moved in together in a beach house. So over the summer, I was in yet another deep depression. I'd seen so many times that I could make YouTube work, but nothing was working. Then I experienced a moment of divine comedy. This was something straight out of a sitcom, as if God was the director. I was sitting in my room, looking at memes on my phone, wasting time, and I saw a meme about jury duty. I then, aloud, said to myself, "Oh boy, I sure hope I never get jury duty," and I kid you not even 30 minutes later, my brother walks in with a letter from the government for me. It was a jury summons. I had jury duty. This broke me. This genuinely broke my spirit. It felt like the universe was mocking my very existence, and it just sent me further and further into the depression I was already in. But I really needed that reality check because it forced me to confront myself. It hurt because it felt like there was something outside of my control preventing the success that I craved so much. And that's when I realized there wasn't. The reason I was depressed, the true reason deep down, was because I wasn't living the life I knew I was capable of. I was a failure. I knew how to be successful. I had proven I could do it multiple times. But I was actively choosing to do nothing. So after coming to this realization, I got to work. I started writing, I pulled out a bunch of scripts that I'd been working on for shorts, and made a bunch more. This included the scripts for my first bad ideas, including The Widest Receiver and Berg Below. Those videos are still some of the most viewed on this channel to this day. After writing everything down, it was like 4 a.m. at this point, and I wasn't sleeping anytime soon. I knew if I went to bed, I would put off recording till the next day, and this cycle would continue. So I adjusted my green screen till the lighting was perfect and waited for my parents to leave for work so I had a quiet house. After explaining to them that I wasn't insane and that pulling an all-nighter would be a great career move, I got myself some caffeine and recorded 20 videos. Speaking of caffeine, you should use code Jonny RaZeR for 10% off gamer subs. Shilling aside, I wish I had the recording of this because I literally said then and there, today is July 16, 2022, and today I become a YouTuber. I had decided that from that point on, I would be successful. So I knew what I had to do. I had all the experience I needed. I just had to do it. And it worked. Around 9 a.m. I passed out. And then when I woke up, I edited the first of the videos. Fittingly about Fall Guys, which had gotten views in the past. And I've been posting daily ever since. I never stopped. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Now, despite the depression I was in, which was caused by me not being able to succeed with YouTube, I still really enjoyed making YouTube videos. I had fun creating them. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea here. The reason I was so depressed is that every time I made a video, I made it thinking it would be the one to change things. I was putting all my hopes and dreams into the one, scheduling it to go live in the morning, having a dream where it popped off and was super successful, and then waking up to see it only had like 50 views. So when I had that epiphany, part of my mindset changed completely. I wasn't just gonna make shorts. I was gonna make videos for me. I was gonna make them for the sake of making them because I wanted to make them. The bad ideas weren't a calculated move. They were a fun thing I decided to do to add variety. The Widest Receiver was a joke that I had written in my notes since I was in that dorm room in 2020. And now it's the most viewed video I've ever made. And that's an idea that I've had multiple people tell me was stupid. That's why they're all bad ideas. Because even though one person thinks an idea is bad, there are hundreds and thousands and millions of people that might like it. So I stopped worrying about the views, and 1 million subs and over 500 million views later, I'm glad I didn't stop. I've done a lot of really fun things for the sake of content. I played God with the Kinect. I made the silliest movie imaginable with my friends from college. I made multiple goofy Christmas movies with my friends from home. I made 2 singles and an album. I made bread. I made pizza. I went to an anime convention. I started a comment plague by accident, and that's never coming back, by the way. And I traveled to New York to document 2 separate food-related YouTuber events. And I'm not stopping. This is only the beginning of my story. Making this video has made me reflect a lot on the past 7 years of content creation. I went from a kid emulating the people I watched when I was even younger to a real YouTuber, and I couldn't be happier. I went back to college again. I was on the cusp of dropping out, but my brothers convinced me otherwise, so I just showed up again. And I wasn't even in classes yet. I took a gap, which I'm taking them over the summer though, which is why I haven't been streaming as frequently as I want to. But going back, I was able to reconnect with all my friends there that I just abandoned. And we were able to record a couple things that will be coming out hopefully soon, along with beginning a project that you'll see a lot more about in the fall. I am beyond thankful for all of you helping me get this far and beyond excited to continue forward. And to anyone crazy enough to want to be a YouTuber, just do it. That's the best advice you can hear, and I hate that Nike owns it. Make videos because you want to make them. Make them better so you and your friends enjoy them. If I'd only realized all those years ago that I could make videos for the sake of making them, I'd be at 10 million subs by now. It takes time, sure, but the people who are successful in YouTube are the ones that never stop. Despite all the setbacks, despite the pitfalls, and all the videos that don't do well, the people that eventually make it are the ones that don't stop trying. I mean, Mr. Beast was making videos years before he was even 1,000th of the size he is now. The people that inspire you were in your exact place at one point, so I urge you to just do it. The second this video ends, close YouTube and start planning a video. Start writing your video essay. Start planning your goofy idea with your friends. Start coming up with a story. Then tomorrow or the next day you're free, you record it. And whatever free time you have, you edit it. Then once it's done, you start the process all over again. That's the reality of being a YouTuber. A lot of people look at YouTube as this dream lifestyle. They see the Logan Pauls and the Rice Gums of the world living this millionaire fantasy. You see the money, the flexing, the clout. What you don't see is the years of work that it took to get there, or the hours of editing per day, or the thousands of dollars paid to somebody else to do the editing for them. That's not what being a YouTuber is. It's being someone with a burning desire to just make things, to craft a story, to share a moment or an idea. Everyone's so worried about what color the thumbnail should be or how long the video should be that they lose sight of why they're making things in the first place. YouTube is a platform for sharing, but it's been transformed into this weird corporate world where everyone's just trying to attain more money or fame instead of just making the things that matter to them. I hope my words can be helpful in inspiring your journey, whether you want to be a YouTuber or make music or just go to college and get a job. You can, but only do it if that's what you truly want to do. Fame doesn't mean anything. I have 1 million subscribers, but I'm no different than you watching this video. No number could possibly make me better than you. So if I can attain this dream, so can you. And if you like this style of video, please let me know in the comments. I still have another channel that I don't know what I'm doing with. I could turn it into a weekly slap type beat with more videos in this style, but I'm still not sure. But I really did enjoy making this. I took a huge trip down memory lane. Despite all the hardships, if I could go back, I'd do it all again. Actually, I'd be a lot better and probably be successful earlier, but that's not the point. As I mentioned earlier, you can check out the reactions I did to a bunch of my old content right here. Channel members can watch the full unedited cut, but for everyone else, I think this should give you the gist of it. So thank you once again for 1 million subscribers. But with that being said, I hope to see you in the next one.